how one dashboard changed the way we drive forever. It didn't look revolutionary. It didn't sound powerful, but it quietly rewired how humans interact with machines. At first glance, it was just information, numbers, lights, simple indicators arranged with intention. To understand why this dashboard still shapes modern driving, we need to rewind back to a time when cars spoke only in vibrations, when drivers relied on feel more than feedback, and mistakes arrived without warning. Early vehicles offered little guidance, a speedometer, a fuel needle. That was enough. But as cars grew faster and heavier, silence became dangerous. Engines could fail without notice. Brakes could fade without explanation. Drivers were always reacting too late. Engineers saw the problem clearly. Machines knew what was happening. Humans did not. So a question emerged. What if the car could speak sooner? What if it could warn, guide, and educate in real time? The first attempts were crude. Single warning lights, generic symbols, no nuance. Drivers ignored them or misunderstood them because urgency without clarity creates confusion. Then one team approached the problem differently. They didn't add more warnings. They redesigned the conversation. This dashboard wasn't about alerts. It was about awareness. Information was grouped logically. Critical data sat where eyes naturally rested. Colors communicated urgency instantly. Red meant stop. Amber meant attention. Green meant stability. Nothing was accidental. Every angle was tested. Every label debated. When drivers first experienced it, something changed. They didn't just see the car's condition. They felt informed. Suddenly, driving became anticipatory. Problems were noticed early. Decisions became smoother. Critics underestimated it at launch. They focused on engines and styling. They missed the quiet revolution inside. But over time, the effect became undeniable. Drivers made fewer mistakes. Maintenance improved. Confidence increased. Other manufacturers paid attention. Slowly at first, then urgently. Because once drivers experienced clarity, they refused to return to ignorance. This dashboard didn't add power. It added understanding. And that understanding would change driving forever. The real impact revealed itself gradually, not in reviews, but in behavior. Drivers began checking instruments instinctively, not out of fear, out of trust. The layout encouraged habits. Eyes moved in patterns. Hands reacted without panic. Engine temperature stopped being a mystery. Oil pressure gained meaning. Battery warnings felt informative, not alarming. This dashboard trained drivers quietly, without lectures, without manuals. Fleet operators noticed first. Breakdowns decreased. Service intervals stabilized. Insurance data followed. Fewer catastrophic failures. Earlier interventions. Lower long-term costs. Yet, not everyone welcomed the change. Some purists argued it diluted instinct, that drivers should feel the machine, not read it, but the data disagreed. Situational awareness improved. Reaction times shortened. As vehicles grew more complex, the dashboard evolved. New sensors appeared. New metrics joined the display, but the philosophy remained. Clarity over clutter. Hierarchy over noise. Then came the digital transition. Screens replaced needles. Customization became possible. Many designs failed here. Too much information. Too many menus. But the original lesson survived. Prioritize what matters. Hide what doesn't. This dashboard's influence could be traced everywhere. Head-up displays. Driver assistance alerts. Predictive maintenance systems. Even warning sounds followed its logic. Different tones for different urgency. No ambiguity. The dashboard had become a language, shared across brands, understood globally. Drivers no longer needed explanation. They felt it immediately. And yet, something subtle was changing. As information increased, reliance shifted. Drivers trusted the interface, sometimes more than their senses. And that trust would soon be tested. As trust deepened, responsibility quietly moved. Drivers stopped listening to the engine. They listened to the display. Silence felt safe if no warning appeared. Manufacturers noticed this dependency. They refined alerts further. They softened messages. They reduced false alarms. But every refinement carried risk. Delay a warning too long, and damage occurs. Trigger it too early, and drivers ignore it. Finding balance became obsession. Engineers debated philosophy more than hardware. Should the car protect the driver from worry, or should it demand constant attention? Some brands chose reassurance. Others chose transparency. The dashboard became a battleground of beliefs. Then came the first major failure tied to miscommunication. Not mechanical, interpretive. Drivers misunderstood symbols, ignored subtle warnings, trusted green lights too much. Investigations revealed a harsh truth. Information is only powerful if understood. So standards emerged. Icons became universal. Colors standardized across markets. What began as innovation became obligation. At the same time, automation accelerated. Assistance systems joined the dashboard, lane guidance, collision alerts, adaptive cruise. The interface grew smarter and quieter. Drivers noticed less because less demanded attention. That shift felt comfortable until the moment it wasn't, because when systems failed, drivers were slower to react, less practiced, less engaged. The dashboard had taught anticipation, but it had also encouraged delegation. And that paradox would lead to its most important test yet, the moment when clarity alone would no longer be enough. The breaking point wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, and that made it dangerous. Drivers trusted silence as confirmation. No warning meant no problem, until reality disagreed. When automation hesitated, humans hesitated too, because practice had been replaced by confidence, and confidence had replaced awareness. That's when the industry paused. Designers looked back at the original intent, not to replace judgment, but to sharpen it. The dashboard was never meant to drive for us. It was meant to inform us, to keep us present. So the philosophy shifted again. More engagement, clearer handoffs, stronger signals when humans were needed. Modern dashboards now speak more directly. They interrupt. They demand attention. They refuse to be ignored. All because of one early realization. Machines must communicate honestly, even when the message is uncomfortable. That single dashboard changed how cars speak and how we listen. It didn't just display information. It reshaped responsibility. And today, every time a warning flashes, we're living inside that legacy. So what do you think? Are we trusting our machines too much again?